Stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1. Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by now. Here's JP.
Oh, it is a playoff Monday. Howdy doing? This is going to be one hell of a show today. I cannot wait. I just watched the Rondé Barber hype video that the Bucks put out. Look, Tally's already. She's like getting her seat ready for the game and the show right behind us. There you go. She's ready. That hype video, Timmy. We're going to play this on the show here today. Can't wait to do that. Good morning to you, IndyCar Tim in Dallas. You're at the Cowboys game last night. You survived.
Good morning. It is a somber mood here in North Texas. It's cold and somber. I've got ice all over my backyard. I barely made it home last night.
Damn, wow.
But you know what? I don't feel that bad, to be honest with you. I really don't.
You're free. You're free of all of it, right? It's over.
I'm just numb to all of it at this point.
Yeah, Bucks fans are going to be going, through the same thing tonight, win or lose. It's going to be this emotional rush. I mean, in the NFL playoffs, it's so defining. It's so final. Your entire season is done. Everything as a fan that you've poured into it just ends in a moment. Or you're moving on and you're just absolutely out of your mind, crazy, happy. And it's weird when you look at some of these franchises and their playoffs history. Like the Dallas Cowboys, I was doing this last night, and I'm trying to tell Buck fans what a special opportunity this is tonight. And you look at Dallas and what their brand has been. They're 4-12 in the playoffs since 1999, and won obviously 0 Super Bowls. The Bucks are 8-4, and they've won 2 Super Bowls. You look at the two brands, and you're like, wait a minute, what? But the stats are there, the numbers are there, and they're defining. And for the Buccaneers, this is an incredible opportunity, again, that you don't get very often to host a playoff game. And you get to do it against the Philadelphia Eagles. I mean, the Cowboys have been to the playoffs, how many years in a row now? And they haven't won? I mean,
3.
It's brutal. And
not just haven't won, ousted in the wild card round 2 of those 3 years, then ousted in the divisional round by San Francisco last year.
Obviously, they came here and kicked the Bucks' ass last year. That wasn't a very good Bucks team, and I'm not sure how good this Bucks team is. We'll get into it. But it's an incredible opportunity, and that hype video was so well done. Hopefully, everybody that's watching it will get the full flavor of it. For those of you listening on the podcast, may not translate as well, but it's still pretty good stuff. And by the way, let me set up the show real quick. John Clark will join us from NBC Philly. He was with the Eagles yesterday as they arrived, talked to the coaches and some of the players. So we'll get the very latest on what the mindset is in Philly for this game. Played tennis with Sal Pal this weekend. By the way, nice little Twitter video if you want to go check that out from what happened. Tampa Bay finally won after years of getting my ass kicked by Sal Pal. So this, I think, portends well for Buccaneer fans. We got a dub in tennis. I had to bring in a ringer to do it. So go watch the Twitter video. You'll enjoy it.
Did you get Pete Sampras?
Almost, yeah. Brett Rollison, the head coach at Florida Southern Tennis, good friend of Sal Pal's, and I brought one of his great players, Matty Hewitt. And this dude's hitting not the whole doubles match, but at least we got up like 5-4, and he was serving. And the first time he served, he was like, puffing it over. I looked at him and I said, I never got a dub against these guys, ever. I said, I want 130 or I want nothing. I said, no effing mercy. And he's hitting 130 mile an hour bombs at Sal Pal. And we're just laughing. I'm like, hey, sorry, guys. I've taken enough L's from you. I wasn't going to let this one slip away.
No.
It was kind of funny. It was really funny. It had nothing to do with my talent. That's for goddamn sure. But anyway, it was
work smart, not hard, right?
Exactly. And listen, this is the mentality the Bucks have to have tonight. Ruthless. Be ruthless, right? You have to go into these games just with a mindset of ruthless brutality. And tonight is going to be a physical slog. It's going to be a trench warfare football game, most likely in the rain, in the wind. I don't think that favors the Buccaneers, quite frankly. But listen, this is a mindset football game tonight. You got to go out there and focus and execute. And I know that sounds like cliche, but more than anything, you've got to avoid the big mistakes in the rain, and you've got to play physical football. Physical, I mean, I watched it all weekend long. The most physical teams won all those games, although there was dazzling performances by C.J. Stroud and Jordan Love that maybe a little bit of I don't want to be a prisoner of the moment, but those two cats look like they may be back to the playoffs quite a few times in the next decade or so.
Yeah.
Those were incredible performances by both of those guys. And tonight, this is a defining moment for the Buccaneers and this team. And there's so much good about this team, what they've been able to accomplish with $75 million in dead cap money. Tom Brady is gone. Baker Mayfield comes in. Everybody, a lot of people in this market were like, this guy is trash. The Bucs are trash. And I thought, you know what? I think it's a great marriage of a gritty quarterback who's got some talent, no question about it. You don't win a Heisman Trophy if you don't have some talent. The guy's got some talent. He's got a mindset. And after the first press conference, I was sold. I'm like, this is a different cat. And I tried to bait him a couple times into that arrogant mentality, and he was not taking the bait. You could tell this was a different mindset. This cat had learned, he had matured, looked into his last couple of years a little bit more, talked to some guys in Los Angeles, and they had nothing but great things to say about Baker Mayfield when he showed up there. It was all work and all business, and he did some really good things. You went and looked at the tape, and I'm like, this guy's got a chance. This guy's got a chance. There was a lot working against the Bucs, but we predicted that they would win 8, 9, 10 games and win the division. And here we are. Now, I also said after they were 4-7, they got no shot. If they continue to play
day well.
Yeah. If they continue to play like that, I'm like, this season's over. I'm like, are they going to win 5 or 6 and get into playoffs? Hell no. Well, they did. They did. I fully admit I jumped off the train because of the way they were playing. And there was no accountability. Constant busts. They were soft as can be in their play calling and in the way they played. It was awful, but they turned it around. To their credit, the leadership of this team: Levante David, Baker Mayfield, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Antoine Winfield Jr., Tristan Wirfs. These are not the loudest guys. They're not the the baddest mofos on the planet, but they are solid, and they compete. If there's one thing I could say about those guys, they want to win. And they're going to need to step up tonight because I'm telling you, this Eagles team has been slapped around. They have been absolutely – I was on Philadelphia radio this morning, The Fanatic, with John Kincaid, who joined us on Friday. And they're just crushing the Eagles. And there's a lot of Eagles fans that just wish they'd get beat and get rid of Nick Sirianni and start all over again. I mean, that's really their mentality after the way this season has gone down at the end of the year. They're circling the drain. There's nothing, you look at, I look at guys like Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis, those two kids from Georgia who you thought were just going to absolutely dominate. They've been invisible, for whatever reason, young players hitting the wall, rookie wall. For Jalen, it's hard. It's really, really hard. And do they show up tonight? We don't know. Do the Bucs offensive linemen show up tonight and play with a physical brand of football that they're going to need to play with? It's a toss-up. I wish I could sit here and tell you who's going to win this game. I don't have a lot of confidence because of what I've seen in the Bucs the last 2 weeks. Baker Mayfield is going to start the game. I just don't know how well he's going to be able to play tonight. I just don't know. If he gets hit early on and he's immobile, I think the Bucs learned last week that they may have to pull the trigger a little quicker to get Kyle Trask in there if they're going to win a game of this magnitude, depending on how the Eagles are playing. If Jalen Hurts is throwing you the football and it's the Keystone Cops, well, maybe you can win a game 12-3. Who knows? Todd Bowles is going to have to manage this game. Would I be shocked to see Kyle Trask? No, because Baker I don't know how he finished the game last week. And yes, it feels fine today. It'll feel fine in the beginning of the game. He takes one hit on that thing, you're back to ground zero. And when Baker is immobile, he's not good. We saw it the last 2 weeks. He's not been good. I'm just being honest. So if Baker can somehow stay free, the quick passing game has been something that really has hurt the Eagles. Quick slants, get the ball out quickly. Don't let Baker get hit. The Bucs have a chance. And with Godwin and Evans, those are two guys that know how to make combat catches. They're good in traffic. Catch that slant ball. Don't start moving and take off down the field. That's a play that's been hurting. The Eagles secondary is bad. It's bad. But if Baker can't get the time to make that work in the downfield throws, it's going to be a moot point. So there's so many things that go into this game tonight. I think Baker Mayfield remaining healthy throughout the game is the biggest part of it. And if he can't, Todd Bowles has got to have a quick trigger because this Eagles secondary is terrible. It's terrible. And if you can get the ball downfield and allow your playmakers like Evans and Godwin to make plays, then you got to give it a shot. If Baker can't throw the ball and he can't move, you got to get him out of there. You got to get him out of there. Last week, you can beat the Panthers 9-0. Yes, you can. The Eagles, no. Even as bad as they are, they can score points. You're going to have to score some points tonight if it's not just a complete disaster in terms of the rain. So if the Eagles offense is humming, you're going to need to get some points on the board. And if Baker gets hit on that ankle, the ribs, it looks like he's throwing fine and he can turn. There may be a little bit of residue, but even one hit on that, if he takes one in the torso, he's going to be damaged goods. So but Todd Bowles is going to have to be at his best, and he's going to have to be bold in his play calling, in his game management, and expect the best from the Eagles. And I think you're going to get their attention, and I think you're going to get their best. They know what's at stake now. They know what's at stake, and it's a trip to Detroit. And if you're a Bucs fan and they could put together a game like they did against the Packers and the Jaguars, which they're obviously capable of doing, we just saw it, then you got a good shot at beating a team that is really circling the drain. So I'm here for it, Timmy. It's playoff football tonight. It's Monday Night Football, and we could sit here and talk about both teams not being at their best, but I don't give a crap. We are ready to go, and this is going to be under the lights, and it's going to be fun. I cannot wait.
This kind of gives me the feel like this game, especially the way Baker's banged up and the way he's banged up, ribs, man, if anybody's ever had a rib injury, and I've had lots of them from my hockey days and my basketball days, man, you just don't play through crap like that. That's maybe the hardest injury to play through is a rib, especially for a quarterback who's got to torque his body when he throws.
Yep.
This just has the feeling to me like a game that the defense is going to have to win, especially with the ineptitude of the Philly offense right now.
Right.
I know they've scored points to close out the season against, they scored in the 30s, I think, against Arizona and the Giants, but that was Arizona and the Giants, okay? Not the Bucs defense.
Right.
I think if the Bucs defense can hold them to, 17, you think the Bucs can get to 20 with Baker?
If he's healthy, yeah. This Eagles defense is not the defense of old. This is not the team we saw in week 3, I believe it was.
Right.
This is not the same team. And thank God we're not going to be wearing those terrible orange jerseys, creamsicle jersey. They're beautiful, don't get me wrong, but we suck in them. We can't play in them, as we showed that day. So, yeah, I just don't – that Philadelphia team ran all over the Bucs. They ran at will. They destroyed Devin White in that game. Jason Kelce owned his ass. And they ran right at him the entire game. He never got off a block. 8 yards, 10 yards, 14 yards, 10 yards, 8 yards. It wasn't just Devin White. The entire Bucs defensive front was manhandled. And if that starts happening again tonight, there's nothing easier. As Derek Brooks always says, the easiest thing to do is turn around and hand off the ball. And if you can't stop the run, you can't win. You can't win to that degree. And the Eagles proved that in week 1. Jalen Hurts has a mangled finger. He may not have to throw the ball if the Bucs can't stop the run. And Vita Vea has been playing hurt, and he's not the Vita Vea that we know and love. He's going to have to step up big time tonight in the run game and try to keep Devin White free if Devin White is out there. And if Devin White is getting manhandled, Todd Bowles needs to do something about that too. He won't, but he should. I know KJ Britt has been injured. I'm not exactly sure what his status is. If he can't play or is not, ready to handle the rigors of the running game, if you got a leg injury and you're taking on these offensive linemen, and lead blockers, you can't get it done. A healthy KJ Britt would be way better than Devin White in the middle in this game, in my opinion. But we won't see that, unfortunately. But these are the type of things that Todd Bowles needs to do in a game like this. He cannot be conservative. He cannot sit back and wait, to see what's going to happen. If Devin White can't handle the game, if Baker Mayfield is hurt and can't move, get him out of there. You got to have some. Listen. Kyle Trask has taken a lot of snaps this week. He's taken and he took a lot of snaps last week. And I'm not sitting here saying Kyle Trask could play. That's not what I'm saying. But if Baker Mayfield is as bad as he was last week, especially in the second half, you got to get him out of there. You got to get him out. And you've got to test the Eagles where they're weakest. And that's in the secondary and the downfield passing game. So it's crazy to think, but it's something that just might happen. So we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, and I don't know if the Bucs running game right now is at a level where you can kind of hide Baker by just handing the ball off a steady dose of the running game. I don't know
that's not against this team, even as bad as the Eagles have played. No. I don't see that. And the fact that it'll probably be a heavy box too.
Yeah.
If they know Baker can't throw the ball downfield like last week, then you might see a really heavy box, and there's no way the Bucs can run against a heavy box.
That's funny. That was the same nickname I had for my first wife.
Oh, wow. Okay, then. On that note, let's take a look at this hype video. The Bucs just put this out this morning. Rondé Barber at his home bar, and there's going to be a nice little
bars at his house.
Yeah.
Let me guess. You've been there lots of times.
This is his man cave. Check this out. It's really, really good stuff.
So, here we are again. Vintage Bucs. You try to put us on the shelf when really we were the missing ingredient the whole time.
Love the writing.
Come on. You didn't think we'd throw a party and not invite our friends from Philly, did you?
Puts up
now,
a second glass.
It's time to break out the good stuff.
It's time to go back to the playoffs in the National Football League.
I'm not going to lie.
For your radio
I don't know
listeners,
how far the Bucs
scenes
can
of
go.
the Bucs
The fallout.
fans coming in.
6 months ago, not everyone saw it, but here we are.
I did.
Flag still raised, division still ours.
We would have thought whoever wins the NFC South is destined to be one and done. They're giving them a reason to be excited.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are heading to the postseason. They win the NFC South.
While some need proof, we know who we are.
Tampa Bay, Todd Bowles, 2 years in a row to salvage the end of the season.
And when others turn their backs, we believe in redemption.
You nailed the Baker Mayfield thing.
I'd retire.
Baker Mayfield putting him on his back.
Last time we played these guys, we were trying to figure out who we were. This time around, we know who we are.
Hey, let's have some fun tonight. Remember what Coach said, one play at a time. Big night for all of us. For everybody watching. Everything we do today, set the tone and lead the way. Pass the ball, make some plays. Win. Kick their ass, let's go.
You see, the thing about Tampa Bay is, when we say raise the flags, it's a signal, a call sign for the crew. This is a rivalry, aged to perfection.
That's intercepted.
Picked in the biggest moments,
Rondé Barber.
and it never gets old.
Touchdown.
We make a statement.
Running out of time. He got away. I don't know how he got it. He got what's going to score. Oh, down he goes. Levante David.
You feel me?
Blitz.
That's Antoine Buccaneer Winfield, ladies and gentlemen.
Coming and he is sacked.
This is the playoffs.
Go to the gas.
Oh, it's caught. What a throw. Let's go.
So raise a glass and raise the flags. Cheers, Philly.
Oh, chills.
I'm not even a Bucs fan, and I got chills.
Chills. And for those listening on the podcast, we apologize. So he reaches up behind the bar where he keeps the football, which, by the way, I was holding after the game in Philly when I was waiting for him to come do the interview with me that day. I'll put that back on my Facebook today. I got a great interview with Rondé right after the game in Philly, and he said keep this ball, and he gave it to us to hold on to, me and Bob Hansen and Dave Cook, my producer, And so we had it for him when he came back out, and that ball sits behind the bar right there with a picture of him running down, and he takes it off the mantle there. Cool stuff. I mean, really, really well done by the Bucs, and that's and when you look at stuff like that, all the the Todd Bowles stuff and the terrible offense we saw last week, and all of it just kind of goes away, and you're just like, why not us? Look at what happened in the playoffs this weekend. I mean, who had the Texans, scoring 45 points and just destroying that Cleveland defense, and CJ Stroud stepping up and setting rookie records, the youngest quarterback to ever win a playoff game, serving notice that guy, we saw it firsthand. He is, I don't know how many quarterbacks I'd take over him right now in the league right now. Maybe three or four, but not many. Jordan Love last night. Holy shiz. You saw that firsthand, Tim. That guy reminds me a lot of Aaron Rodgers. The way he throws off his back foot, the flick of the wrist, the arm talent, the coolness. Man, he looks so composed in the game. I was like, holy hell, what's going on?
Yeah, see, I picked him out of that quarterback class before the draft. I said he would be the best quarterback out of that class. And that included Justin Herbert, Tua.
Wow.
Those guys were all in that class. And I just liked Love. And I hated at the time that he went to Green Bay because I knew this would be the case. He's going to sit till Rodgers wants to be done. But you know what? It might have been the best thing for him. I don't know that Rodgers would have been the quarterback Rodgers is if he had to start right away instead of sitting behind Favre,
It looks like, you look at all those situations, almost all of them, even to some degree Mahomes, people forget he sat on a bench for what, 12 games, 13 games? And Alex Smith was playing, he was balling out. I think he was undefeated or had one loss when they replaced him. But no, I think there's a lot of merit to not throwing guys into the mix right away.
And that's how it used to be all the time.
Yeah.
Nobody ever expected a rookie quarterback to come in and start your team unless you just had nobody else. You were going to fight for a job. If you won the job, you won the job. But that was never the expectation. And I feel like now anybody that drafts a quarterback in the first round, if you don't start day one, you're a failure.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're a bust. And that's just wrong.
Yeah. This is going to be some fun tonight. I know there's a lot of fans who are, a little afraid to get to the game because of the rain. I get it. Just get out there. You never know. It's Florida. The rain can be spotty. You might just miss the whole game. Who knows? Just get out there.
What we got here. My temperature right now, by the way, I didn't get my temperature update for DFW. It is 11 degrees.
Holy crap. 11 degrees?
It's 11 degrees. Let's see here. Let me do this here for you. Here's our forecast right here, JP, on the screen. 11 degrees, low today of 9. Tomorrow 11, Wednesday 18. And you can't see out my window here, but there's my backyard. It's got some snow on the roofs and the houses across the alleyway there, and my yard's got some snow in it there.
Oh, wow, yeah. Absolutely.
Dude, it is cold outside.
The hour-by-hour forecast here is 60% chance of rain at 6 o'clock, moves to 70% chance of rain at 7, and remains at 70% throughout the game. At 10 o'clock, it starts to clear through. So maybe the front comes through a little bit early. Hopefully it gets through a little bit early, and we get a little better weather, because you never want to see a game just decided, where both teams can't be at their best. No. But and I understand, it's hard for fans to go out there and pay a premium and park and do all that when you're just going to get rained on and you can sit in your nice, warm, cozy house. But listen, if the rain is, light and it's no big deal, and you had a chance to go to a playoff game, a home playoff game against the Eagles, and you don't take that opportunity, folks, you're going to be, if you're a real football fan, you're going to be kicking yourself in the ass. You're going to be kicking yourself in these things do not come around very often, folks. They do not. So get your butt out there and support the Buccaneers. Otherwise, the Eagles fans certainly will. And they're here. I was talking to the guys in Philly. John Clark will update us on this as well. Philly fans have traveled. They'll be here. It was about 50-50, 60-40 Philly fans for the first game. And that'll be a national embarrassment if that happens again. It'll be a national embarrassment.
Philly fans, are not afraid of the weather.
They're
they don't
not.
give a crap about a little bit of rain and mud and crap like that. They will be there anyway. So don't let them show y'all up.
I know. And I'm a little afraid of that. Be quite honest. I'll be there in the press box where it's nice and warm. So I don't throw the daggers all you want. I get it. But yeah. Hey, I got to walk in from the parking lot. It's like a half a mile walk, Tim. Get rain on my shoes.
They don't take very good care of you guys, man. Media gets to park like right at the door to AT&T Stadium.
It's not maybe not even a half a mile. It's probably a quarter of a mile. I'm probably exaggerating that. It's not far at all. We're right across the street from the stadium. So yeah, we're really, really close. But not as close as I was in Dallas. I will agree with that.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's nice.
But by the way, I want to get to it at 10:30, folks. I'm going to get to the Florida State situation. I had a long talk with some folks. This I don't want to give away too much, but some folks very connected to the Florida State program, and I mean very connected. And they kind of walked me through the whole thing last week with Mike Norvell and the sanctions and everything. And Kurt Weiler from the Osceola is going to join us at 11:15 to kind of augment the stuff I'm going to tell you. It's a really fascinating story, and it's eerie how similar it is to 1986 when Coach Bowden was being wooed by Alabama. I was there. It was my first job and my first time I was ever in a sports office in 1986 in Tallahassee. I'll never forget just sitting there through the night with my mentor, Rich Lenz, waiting to hear the news on Coach Bowden. And it was an interesting time. Felt a lot like Friday morning, to be quite honest with you. So we'll get into that as well. Lots to get to here on the JP Peterson Show. We're brought to you by the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVESLawgroup.com. Get that personal attention you so richly deserve by a local law firm. Yes, there's bigger law firms that spend lots of money on advertising and all that stuff. Well, you know what? They have to pay for that, and it comes out of your cut. The Jeeves Law Group is all about personal attention. They are local. They have a St. Pete office and a Tampa office where you can meet Scott and the attorneys at the Jeeves Law Group anytime. They will return your phone calls. It's the Jeeves Law Group, big enough to take on those insurance companies, small enough to give you that personal attention. JEEVESLawgroup.com. Back in 3 with some interesting FSU nuggets. Stay with us. Are you tired of those stuffy, overpriced sports bars? Well, come join the fun at the Patio in South Tampa and watch your favorite football teams under the stars in a tropical paradise. Yeah, it's a unique setting with huge wood decks beneath the trees, and don't worry, they have an inside AC bar with all your favorite bar games as well. The Patio has all the NFL and UFC sports packages, and it's home to the Tampa Gator Club and Bills Mafia, but all fans are welcome at any time. Hey, my FSU buddies love to watch the Noles at the Patio. It's also home to a great happy hour. Weekdays get $4 White Claw vodka drinks and $4 White Claw seltzers, $1 off all beer and wine from 3 to 7:30. And every Friday happy hour, join us for Football Friday. It's our live broadcast from 5 to 7 with tons of specials and the fan mic for you to join the show. We'll have swag and ticket giveaways as well. So come out for the live broadcast 5 to 7 every Friday at the Patio and come watch football in a tropical paradise all season long. It's 421 South McDill, just a few blocks south of Kennedy. Everyone meets at the Patio.
Hey guys, are you experiencing those feelings of getting older, lower sex drive, fatigue, hot flashes, moodiness, or you just don't feel like you had the vitality you once had? It's a chronic problem here in the United States. You're not just getting old, it's likely low testosterone. Studies over the last 20 years show a shocking decline in younger males aged 16 to 39. Older men have seen a sharp decline as well, so do something about it. Go see my friend Christopher Lugo at Bay Area Modern Medicine. Look, testosterone replacement is not a frivolous treatment. It takes a professional, targeted approach that focuses on total body wellness, vitality, and emotional stability, not a one-size-fits-all approach like many clinics use. They will monitor your blood work and adjust your treatment as needed for optimal results. Folks, I've been on testosterone therapy for over 6 years, and it is a life changer. You will feel and look better than you did 10 years ago. Give them a call at 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling. That's 844-977-3477 or BAMMC.com.
JP here for the Geddes Gordon Real Estate Group and our good friend Jane Geddes. Folks, simply put, there is nobody like Jane. Jane is a former LPGA two-time major championship winner. She was also vice president of talent relations at WWE. She also has a law degree from Stetson. So if Jane can drain a 10-footer to win the U.S. Open and stare down Hulk Hogan in the boardroom, you want Jane on your real estate team to not only negotiate the best deal, but find you the perfect home or investment property. And when you work with the Geddes Gordon Group, you become part of the real estate family and get concierge services that include expertly staging, marketing, and preparing your home for sale. Advice on golf properties. Hey, you might even get some golf tips. Many of their clients become friends long after the sale or purchase is completed. It's all part of the deal. So if you're looking for that perfect home or investment property or trying to get top dollar for your home, go with Jane Geddes and the Geddes Gordon Group because there's nobody like Jane. Call 813-485-6808 or go to geddesgordon.kw.com. That's GEDDES Gordon.kw.com or call 813-485-6808.
Coming back at you. Now, more with JP on FanStream Sports. It's only just begun.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. To get your testosterone right, like I have done, and get your immune system right, especially now with all the crap that's going around. Go to BAMMC.com. Sign up for an appointment right there and get an hour and a half with your doctor going over your blood work like Chris Lugo does. So get that personal attention you deserve. I'm going to get to our comments here in just a second as well. Thank you guys for jumping in. I want to get to that. I'll do that before we go to the FSU stuff. This just came out, by the way, and happy Martin Luther King Day to all of you. Hope you guys you got a nice day off and you're sitting back and checking out the show. We appreciate that.
I woke my kids up for school this morning. They're like, Dad, we don't have school. I'm like, school. You just got back from Christmas break or whatever. They're like, Dad, it's MLK Day. I'm like,
that's right. Yeah. They had a big parade for Michael Penix Jr. In Dade City, where he grew up. And that was really cool. The MLK Day nice. Parade, they made him the Grand Marshal. So yeah, he's getting a lot of South Florida. Tampa Bay love here. He also had the sneaker soiree on Friday night with the big who's who. I didn't make it this year, but I heard it was an incredible night. Ronnie Barber was there. Fred McGriff. They were both honored for their Hall of Fame inductions, and John Cooper for his 500th win, and Michael Penix, of course, for his great run. So yeah, what an incredible weekend it was here at Tampa. And now let's cap it off with a nice playoff win. And to that end, the MLK Day, the Bucks just announced that they will be welcoming the King family at the game tonight. Andrea Waters King, Yolanda Renee King will attend as special guests for the wild card matchup tonight. It will mark the first time that Martin Luther King Jr. and his family have joined in the commemoration of MLK Day at a National Football League game. So that's really, really cool. They'll be there tonight. And hopefully with the day off, everybody's going to get, the tailgates won't be probably as robust because of the rain, but we'll see.
Didn't affect the tailgating in Kansas City, that weather they had.
How about that? Was that crazy?
The parking lot was full of people tailgating.
Robust fans. Tip of the cap for you fans
there
in Kansas City packing that place. I wouldn't have gone near the door. 2 degrees, 0 degrees, 30 wind chill below.
They had guys in the stands with their shirts off.
What's wrong with you people?
I wouldn't even take my shirt off in my house yesterday, and it was like 68 degrees.
That was crazy to witness those fans. And, that's why I want Tampa Bay fans to step up tonight.
Yeah.
I'm not sure it's going to happen. But prove me wrong,
Tampa. Prove them wrong.
Tony Huey says, we talking about Mike Norvell, FSU? Yes, we are. We're going to do that right now. As I always like to honor our commenters early on in the show. Appreciate you guys coming in. James said, I would feel a lot better about Bucks tonight if Baker was healthy, but ankle and rib injury can mean he can't step in the throw and not have enough zip. He won't be able to escape the rush. Yeah, that's my big thing. And if anybody can play through it, it's him. But those are tough injuries to play through, especially when you're getting knocked around. It's just tough. But he'll give it a go. You know he will. But again, Todd Bowles, have some faith in your backup quarterback. If Baker can't go, let Kyle Trask come in there and let it rip. What do you got to lose, man? You're playing with house money tonight. You're playing with house money, so get after it. Scott Feldhouse says, I just don't feel good about tonight. Two teams not trending well. I just feel we're going to pull a Dallas-Cleveland. I hope I'm wrong.
Had to go there, didn't you, Scott? Thanks a lot.
Yeah. Look at what happened. Dallas had no injury such concerns last night, like with their quarterback. He was unfortunately
he was healthy.
Yeah.
By the way, I realize what uniform the Cowboys now. We've had the argument. The blue, because in the 80s, 70s, the blue jerseys were the unlucky jerseys. And they're not really anymore. The record shows that that's not the case. But I did realize yesterday what jerseys are unlucky for the Cowboys, and that is whatever jersey Dak Prescott is wearing that day.
Oh. Ouch, babe. Yeah, people get caught up in the uniform stuff. I do not. Hey, look, the Supreme Leader, Xi Jinping, is joining us here today, reminding us 35 years ago, the Bucs beat the Eagles in the first round 24-17 to win their first playoff game. That's right. It'll be the sixth time these teams met, and I've been at 5 of them. So I wasn't at that one, unfortunately. But thank you, Supreme Leader, for joining us here today. Can you go easy? Stop running the United States into the ground. Well, he's running the place. Maybe. Nathan, good morning. Buccaneer Monday Night Football. You damn right, buddy. I hope you're going to be. I know you're going to be out there tonight. I'm going to try to come by the tailgate parties, guys, if I can. Got a lot of scheduled stuff tonight, but I'm going to try to get by. I really want to see all you guys. James says, in 1979, a true expansion team beat the Eagles at the old Sombrero. That's right. I was in the stands and suffered watching this team until Rondé made the epic pick versus the Eagles. Hopefully, Bowles can light a fire with these Bucs. If he doesn't have Rondé Barber give the pregame speech,
oh man!
In fact, I'll text Rondé to see if he's being called on to give the pregame speech, because that thing's going to be up on the big board. With that one they put out tonight. So, yeah. Nathan says, Lot 12, cheesesteaks, wings, sausage and peppers, ham. Okay, I'll be there.
Yeah,
I'll be there. I'll be there as well.
Better than what I got in my pantry right now.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, I want to get to the FSU stuff. I apologize for you guys who tuned in to watch. But of course, we have Bucs Eagles going to take precedent. That's just the way it goes. It's playoff game time. So I had a long conversation with some folks this weekend. With one person this weekend, and some shorter conversations with other people to confirm a lot of what we already know. And I put up a tweet on X last night. Can you tweet on X? Is that the way it works? I'm not even sure anymore.
I think you just post.
You just post on X. Is that what you do? And I mean,
yeah.
My intention was not to rile up the Bama fans, but evidently I did. And they're coming at me with both barrels that Mike Norvell was not our first choice. He wasn't anywhere close to being. You just got played by Jimmy Sexton, blah, 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 blah. Whatever. Because the AD said that he was there in Washington on Wednesday night. Blah, blah, blah. So DeBoer was their first. If he was their first choice, then, and I'm sure he was one of their top choices. And it doesn't really matter who your top choice is, to be quite honest. You got a great coach, Bama folks. So just relax, stop being so sensitive. But there's no question that Mike Norvell was still in the running as of Friday morning. I know that for a fact. And I've had it confirmed by 3 different people. Oh, Jimmy Sexton is just trying to get an extension. Oh, of course he was. He does that with all his coaches. Duh. He did it with Sarkisian. He's done it with so many. But eventually, he's talking to everybody, obviously, and he presents the deals to everyone that are being given out by the schools. And Mike Norvell was very much in the hunt on Friday morning. And if DeBoer was their number one choice and he was in Washington on Wednesday night, then why wasn't the deal announced Wednesday night? Hello? Yeah. Crickets? Hello? I mean, why wasn't it? If DeBoer was all on board with going to Alabama and he was their number one choice, then why wasn't it announced when Byrne went there on Washington Wednesday night? And I understand, and nobody in Alabama wants to admit that we would actually go so low as to go down to F. I mean, look at we wouldn't hire a coach that Georgia just beat by 60. That's showing your ignorance right there. Anybody on my timeline that talked about that game knows nothing about college football. Did you listen to Kirby Smart after the game? Not Mike Norvell, Kirby Smart. That wasn't a real football game, and you all know it. So just and then when people come at me like that and they mention that, I'm like, you know nothing. You're just a fan, and you're mad that somebody said you went after a quarterback, went after a head coach, and you didn't get him. It's not the who cares who was the first choice? Alabama wanted Mike Norvell, and that is a fact. And you can talk about all you want about Jimmy Sexton, the agent, just getting more money out of he does that to everybody. And in the end, the coach and the team come together on an agreement. Now, I was told that this did go down to the wire, and Mike Norvell was heavily considering the Bama job. Who would not? Look at Florida State's job right now. You don't know what conference you're going to be in. You're involved in 2 lawsuits. You think you know, and Mike Norvell would not have signed this extension if he wasn't extremely confident that the Seminoles are getting out of this grant of rights and getting to another conference. I think the Big Ten. That's my opinion. Within the next 2 years, okay, he would have taken the Bama job if that was the case, and in my opinion. And I know for a fact that these negotiations went into Friday morning, and that's when it was finally announced that DeBoer was getting the job there and Mike was staying in Tallahassee. Those are facts. And look, Mike Alford, the athletic director for Florida State, needs to be given huge kudos for getting this done, because this started last year. Mike anticipated that someone was going, if FSU had a good year and he thought that they would have a very good year, that someone was going to come after his coach, who was at $3 million at that particular point. He did not have to take him to $8 million last year after the 10-win season. He didn't have to do it then, but he was smart enough to do it then, because going from 3 to 10, where he would eventually need to get to fend off Alabama or whomever came after his coach, it's going to be easier if you're at 8 to go to the board, to go to 8 to 10. So great foresight by A.D. Alford to get that done. And then you go back for the past 2 years and the relationships that Mike Alford and Mike Norvell and the administration have developed, the staff, the players. You know, Mike always talks about family and climbing. And I said this on Friday or Thursday and Friday, because we did the show before it was announced just after the show that he was staying. And I thought he was staying. That was the information I was getting, that he was leaning towards staying, but it still wasn't decided yet. And that turned out to be very, very true. And it was a situation where Mike, he's an authentic guy. Had he jumped ship at this point right now, I think in his soul, it would not have sat well with him. And I was there in 1986 covering the Seminoles in my first year as a broadcaster, still in school at that particular point, working part-time at WTXL in Tallahassee with my good friend Rich Lenz, who was the anchor at the time. And I remember sitting in that office and him being on the phone talking to Wayne Hogan, the sports information director at the time. And we were all very much in limbo as to whether Bobby Bowden was going to take the job in Alabama. He was offered the job. I've heard people say that he wasn't offered the job even back then. I've talked to Coach Bowden about this many times. That job was his if he wanted to have it. No question about it. So in that moment on his drive back to Tallahassee with Ann, he decided that what he was building was his. And he didn't want to go somewhere else where perhaps he didn't, trust all the people or know the people as well as he did the people in Tallahassee. And at that point, the Seminoles were, they were in the Birmingham Bowl. I think they were 8-4 that year. But what Bobby decided was he wanted to be loyal to FSU, a program that had been loyal to him. He wanted to honor his staff that he had built there, an incredible staff that stayed with him for the next 14 years for the most part. And for the next 14 years, FSU finished in the top 5 and won 2 natties. I don't know if anyone will ever have a consistent run 14 straight years in the top 5. And had Bobby gone to Alabama, would he have been able to do that there? I don't know. Maybe. but he knew the situation was right in Tallahassee, and he built his legacy on that decision. And I don't think that is something that Mike Norvell didn't think of. I think very much so, because he very much got to know Coach Bowden, and this is, I think that's a bit of history that probably is something that he thought about. He has built this, he's rebuilt this, and he wants to see it through. And that was, in the end, what won the day, I'm told. So now I know there's a lot of FSU people that on my timeline. By the way, that tweet got over 110,000 engagements, and a lot from the nasty Bama fans. I know that some fans are like, well, that doesn't sit well with me. Why would he consider that job? Come on, people. Get your eyes wide open here. FSU is involved in 2 lawsuits, and they don't have any assurances right now what conference they're going to be in. They're at a huge disadvantage money-wise, especially. Alabama's a better job. See, Bama fans, I said it. Alabama is a better job right now. Duh. Everybody knows that. It's a much better job right now compared to where FSU is. I mean, look what just happened with the snub. So I'm not sitting here blind to the fact that that's an opportunity that, of course, Mike Norvell has to consider for himself, for his family, for his career. Of course, he's got to listen. Of course, he has to listen. And yes, use it as leverage to get more money and get better facilities. That's the way the game is played. You know, I had people on my timeline go, I like Bobby Bowden, and he stayed loyal to the pro. He wasn't going after every other job. It's a very different time we live in. And Bobby did listen to Alabama. He listened, as he should. You owe it to your family. You owe it to yourself to listen. But in the end, Mike came back to FSU. And that's the only thing that matters. And had he not, folks, listen, FSU is going to continue to play football. The FSU would have gotten a good coach. But these guys are hard to find, and that's why they're paid so much money. Is Mike Norvell going to win a national championship here? I don't know, but I'd bet on it. I'd bet positively on it. Absolutely, I would. Look at what he's done in the portal this week. The players he's taken from Alabama. That's why I think so many of these Bama fans are so pissed off. And they want to say, oh, we would never consider a guy that lost by 60 to Georgia. It's just ignorant. It's just ignorant. Sorry.
Not realistic.
Not realistic. It's no shame to say that you went after a coach that just would rather stay where he is. Maybe he doesn't want to follow in the footsteps of Nick Saban, because nobody, and I mean Jesus himself, could walk in there, and you Bama fans aren't going to be happy. Is he going to win 7 national championships in the next 17 years? No. Whoever you hire, Kalen DeBoer ain't doing that. Nobody is. There will never be another Nick Saban. Sorry, not going to happen. Different landscape. NIL has leveled the playing field. Alabama doesn't have as much money as Texas and a lot of other places. Sorry, Bama fans, that era is over, and is not likely to repeat, as the Bobby Bowden era is over in Florida State. Not likely to repeat 14 straight years in the top 5. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. So it's a different landscape. And would Mike Norvell be a better choice than Kalen DeBoer? I'm not going to debate that. I think the world of Kalen DeBoer. He's a fantastic football coach, and you got a great coach. I don't know why you're so worried about Mike Norvell. But Kalen DeBoer, as many people have pointed out, has very little contacts, and certainly not the contacts that Mike Norvell has in recruiting the South. He knows, obviously, the playing field here better than a Kalen DeBoer. Will he catch up with the resources of Alabama? Will he hire the right people? Absolutely. He's going to win. I think he's going to do great there. But if I were Alabama, would I have taken Mike Norvell? Yeah, I would have. But look, I will admit to some FSU bias here, absolutely, because I've watched the way he's worked, and I know so many people that know him very, very well, and they speak very highly of him and mention the word Bobby Bowden so often about him. So, yeah, I think Mike would have done a fantastic job at Alabama. Which coach is better? I don't know. We'll see. It'll be great. Hopefully we'll meet in the playoffs soon. I think that just might happen. So calm down, Bama fans. It's not the worst thing in the world that you wanted a coach that took his team to a 13-0 record this year. That ain't the worst thing in the world. And any other opening, Mike Norvell would be one of the top 5 candidates. He's earned that. So Stop being so crazy, you people. And, hats off to Michael Alford. And I talked a little bit Alford, and I talked about relationships. And that's what this is all about. And Alford's done a fantastic job with everyone in that regard, with the NIL folks and the players and the staff. And that's what's important in moments like this. You can't wait till crunch time and try to build a relationship and save somebody and save Mike Norvell from going there. You got to build this years in advance. So when crunch time comes, he can look you in the eye and you can have trust in that relationship. When Michael Alford says, look, we're getting out of this conference, and this is me talking, by the way, we're going to X, and I believe it to be the Big Ten and Fox. I don't think they should or would get back in bed with the SEC and ESPN, because if they go to the SEC, I got news for you. FSU will be treated like the redheaded stepchild of the family. They'll always get bad TV times. They'll get bad places at the table. You might be at the side table with the newbies. You don't want to be treated like that.
They're going to put you over there with Vanderbilt.
Exactly. You don't want to be treated like that. It's the reason Bobby Bowden chose to go to the ACC instead of the SEC, because they knew that's the way they were going to be treated had they gone to the SEC. I was there then as well when that decision was made. And I think it was the right decision at the time. That can be debated. But I think it was the right decision. I think the Big Ten is the right decision at this particular time. Just because FSU is located in the Southeast doesn't mean they have to be in a strictly Southeastern conference. Join a national conference that see the shining sea. Better opportunities academically for your university. As my son said, hey, the degree will be worth more in a national conference, amongst my son lives in Chicago now. He has a little different perspective, an FSU grad. And there's, the Michigans, the Ohio States, the Penn States, the Wisconsins. Those are big deals and big universities up there. And joining that conference is not such a bad idea. I know a lot of FSU folks like, oh, the road trips, you can't drive, blah, blah. I get it. But there are bigger things to think about. So I think this has been an incredible 72 hours, whatever it was last week. And I do think it was an existential threat to the FSU program. You lose Mike Norvell at this particular time, you're going to have a lot of players jumping ship that he just brought in the portal. You've got to rebuild with a new coach and new trust, new staff, new everything. It's in a situation where you're trying to get to another conference. The last thing you need is instability at the coaching position. That's the last thing you need. So this moment here, it may not turn out to be the moment of 1986 that Bobby Bowden decided to stay at FSU and made the run. It may not lead to that, but it might. Mike Norvell may be at Florida State for another 15, 20 years, and he might win a national championship awful soon. That team is loaded even next year. Is it as good as some of the others? I don't know, and neither do you. Is it as deep as Georgia? Probably not. Is it as deep as Alabama? Probably not. But they're going to have a lot of good players and an experienced quarterback to lead that team. And he's building recruiting classes, portal classes, everything. So we'll see. I can tell you this, without Mike Norvell, Florida State would have been set back 5 years, 10 years. I don't know. But it would have been at a time when they can't afford it. Time and circumstance really will tell in the future if this was that seminal moment, but it was big. Trust me, that FSU, and it was dicey. And again, this is not on Mike Norvell of lack of loyalty. He showed the ultimate loyalty by staying. Think about it. Think where FSU is and think where Alabama is. To say no to that right now took a lot of courage, it took a lot of loyalty, and took a lot of faith, quite frankly, in the FSU program and where they could go. So, he may be sitting back here in 3 years. They're stuck in the ACC saying, dadgummit, as Bobby used to say, dadgummit, I should have taken that job. Or he may be holding a big old trophy and say, I made the right decision. We shall see.
And just be thankful you've got a guy there that's interested in the well-being of the program instead of himself. You know? I mean, just be thankful you've got that guy there.
Can we celebrate that for a moment? Can we celebrate somebody that just didn't jump at the money?
Because they don't all
and
do
the
that.
shiny, glitzy program that is Alabama, that's better than FSU. Yeah, Bama folks, I said it. Of course. Hell yeah. Better facilities, better conference, better everything right now. Absolutely. And Mike Norvell said, no, thank you. Oh, no, he didn't. We want to kill it. He was never considered. Sexton was just playing you guys. Okay. That may very well have been the case. All I know is they were negotiating it on Friday. And the Alabama AD was allegedly in Washington on Wednesday, where he was. Why didn't the deal get done then? So whatever. Who cares?
Exactly.
Who cares? DeBoer is going to be a great coach at Alabama, and Mike Norvell stays at FSU. That's the bottom line. Good luck to Alabama. Good luck to FSU. And as TJC said, you best keep Alford. He's pegged as the heir apparent to Joe Castiglione, who he learned under. You're damn right. And I think, this is a moment. If Alford sits there and begs Mike Norvell to stay, and of course gives him everything that he wanted, that's the way the game is played, folks. And I saw people in my timeline saying, "Oh, well, I don't like the fact that Norvell played Florida State for more money. Why can't he just be happy?" Stop. Just stop. Grow up. Put your big boy pants on. This is the way it works. We would all like everybody to sign on the dotted line and live up to their contract and all that. It's not the way the world works. So if you want to sit back and complain about it and cry about it and watch your coach walk out the door, that's on you. And it's a bad move. What Alford did was absolutely the move. Yes, Scott, hopefully that rain mass near Venice and Englewood stays away for tonight. I'm trying to see if we have any other comments on the
By the way, the
stuff. No.
The Dallas Stars might have had one of the funniest college football tweets or posts on X here in the past week, as they tweeted out, "We've heard the rumors. There is no truth that Pete DeBoer is leaving the Stars to coach Alabama football."
The same name, wrong dude.
I thought that was pretty good.
Are they related in any way? They have to be at some point.
Think?
That's a pretty odd name. It's a very different name. So
let's find out.
Let's go to Ancestry.com and find out somewhere down the line. Absolutely. All right. We'll take another break. And when we come back, Kurt Weiler's going to join us from the Osceola and give us an update on a lot of other things. FSU, Mike Norvell, the portal additions they made in the last week, the NCAA sanctions, so much to talk about. And then we'll get back to Bucks and Eagles. John Clark will join us at 11 o'clock from NBC, or 11:30 from NBC Philly. And we'll do that as well and talk about some more NFL. And we'll throw some bolts in as well. Quick break. Stay with us.
JP here for the Jeeves Law Group, Jeeves. Call for a free case evaluation, 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES. We're local, we're trusted. The law firm brings over 80 years of combined legal experience focusing on clients in Tampa Bay, the state of Florida, and national class action cases. If you're injured, get that free case evaluation, no cost to you. The Jeeves Law Group's focus is on auto, truck, and motorcycle accidents, as well as class action and consumer protection law. Scott Jeeves is a board-certified civil trial lawyer and a certified circuit court mediator practicing in the Tampa Bay area for over 30 years. You hear him on the show all the time. Great guy, big Gator fan, and great for the community. The Jeeves Law Group is a highly skilled team with years of experience that will apply their skills, expertise, and knowledge to assist individuals who have been in an accident with compensation for damages, lost wages, medical expenses, pain and suffering, and property damage. Get that free case evaluation, 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES.
JP here for my good friends at Italiano Insurance, and they did it again. Once again, Italiano Insurance stepping up with the best customer service. I was in a bind. My old insurance company, my auto insurance, jacked up my rates, so I called Charity at Italiano Insurance, and she stayed till 9:30 at night until she got my insurance done. And guess what? She searched all these companies for me. I didn't do the work. She did. Saved me $1,000 on my annual premium. $1,000, folks. That's real money. And that's what you get at Italiano Insurance. Great customer service. And here's another note for you, by the way, with hurricane season up. 40% of people in Florida are underinsured. That means if you have something happen during a hurricane and you need replacement costs, you're going to get 40% less than you deserve. Can't let that happen.
Call the folks at Italiano Insurance and get them to help you out in both those regards. They will save you money and keep you insured properly. That's 813-877-7799. Great folks in the community, been doing it for over 60 years. Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799.
JP here for the Geddes Gordon Real Estate Group and our good friend Jane Geddes. Folks, simply put, there is nobody like Jane. Jane is a former LPGA two-time major championship winner. She was also vice president of talent relations at WWE. She also has a law degree from Stetson. So if Jane can drain a 10-footer to win the U.S. Open and stare down Hulk Hogan in the boardroom, you want Jane on your real estate team to not only negotiate the best deal, but find you the perfect home or investment property. And when you work with the Geddes Gordon Group, you become part of the real estate family and get concierge services that include expertly staging, marketing, and preparing your home for sale. Advice on golf properties. Hey, you might even get some golf tips. Many of their clients become friends long after the sale or purchase is completed. It's all part of the deal. So if you're looking for that perfect home or investment property or try to get top dollar for your home, go with Jane Geddes and the Geddes Gordon Group because there's nobody like Jane. Call 813-485-6808 or go to geddesgordon.kw.com. That's GEDDES Gordon.kw.com. or call 813-485-6808.
Let's go! Right now, back to the show with JP on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the great folks at Italiano Insurance. It is a great time to let them do your insurance checkup, your auto, your home, your life insurance. Just let them do all the work. They'll run all the numbers. They got dozens of companies that they can represent and have one company fight against the other to get your business. So lower your rates. Let them do the work. You save the money. Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799. Big FSU supporters, and that's why we'll go and talk to Kurt Weiler from the Osceola Rivals Network up in Tallahassee. Has been covering this program for quite a long time at the Tallahassee Democrat. Not as long as my old ass, Kurt. Going back, I'm telling Bobby Bowden stories from 1986 when he said no to Alabama on the show this morning. So trying to bring a little perspective to this Mike Norvell decision. How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing well.
Good. What was I know you guys at the Osceola are all over everything from the sanctions to the portal, and we'll get into all that. But just from your perspective, how did the Norvell thing go down for you? What are your thoughts and the fact that he's staying and what that means for FSU?
I mean, I think it's a big deal. I think you well aware. I'm sure a lot of people listening are well aware how tough the last couple months were for this fan base. I think if at the end of that you lose your head coach, who was kind of the one who brought you out of the darkness when you weren't sure when that would happen, if that would ever happen again. I mean, I think it would have been a really significant blow. So keeping him is a big deal. Obviously, the raise and extension that go with that, kind of the price of business nowadays. And we'll never know probably for sure the details of. I mean, I know there was interest from Norvell if they ended up choosing Kalen DeBoer or if he said no. But either way, I don't think Florida State fans care about how it happened. I think they're just glad the end result was him staying.
Yeah, absolutely. I know Bama fans are going bananas thinking that, we would never hire Mike Norvell. Yeah, you would. And you talked to him and you tried to get him, but it doesn't matter. As you said, I think Kalen DeBoer is going to do a great job at Alabama. I think Mike Norvell would have been a better choice, but I'm glad they chose the guy they did. I'm glad everybody's happy, right?
Coaching searches are exhausting. So yes, I also, I mean, I don't know. I think Kalen DeBoer has been a winner everywhere.
Yeah.
He's never recruited the South. It will be interesting to see how he handles that. But it's better for everybody. If they didn't want Mike Norvell, I think Florida State fans are happy to hold on to Mike Norvell.
Absolutely. And what do you think? I've talked to a lot of people close to the search, and I've got my own ideas of what went down. But in the end, do you think, because you cover him all the time, and I talked about this on Friday, just the authenticity that the man brings to the table. When he talks about family, he really means it. When he talks about the players' future and what they're building there, I think he really, really means it. And the buy-in from the players has been there, and that's the whole key. And I think had he walked away, all of that talk would have really sounded cheap, when it was done and where he was going. So I think in the end, and that very much, and I talked to Coach Bowden about this subsequently to his decision many years after. And that's kind of what he said to me. It's like, it didn't feel right. It didn't feel right for what I was going and what I was building. And he made the right decision. I think it's not dissimilar. Would you agree?
No, yes, obviously, I think it changes, obviously, how he's remembered long-term here if he's talking all that. And then, the truth of the matter is, and I haven't heard this for sure, I wonder if he wouldn't have really given it much attention if the last couple months hadn't played out how they did. If literally his team that won all their games did, you have to imagine that would be tempting to any coach to be like, oh, you're basically telling me I get a couple mulligans, especially now in the 12-team era where now, as long as Florida State's in the ACC, you're probably only getting one team in. So you better be the best ACC team or you're not getting in the playoffs. It's an easier path, kind of, but also less wiggle room. So I guess there are trade-offs to both. And I don't think Florida State's going to be in the ACC long enough. Like, you would hope another job doesn't come open before, Florida State's still in the ACC where we go through this again, because obviously they went through this with Jimbo. I think they're exhausted. The hope is, I think you believe it as long as it doesn't become a regular thing. And this is one of the best teams in the country.
And when Alabama comes calling and they don't get him, 100%. I think you're in pretty good shape down there. As I don't know if any other programs are coming open. Texas isn't coming open anytime soon. Georgia's not coming open anytime soon. Yes, there are jobs better than Florida State, and Alabama is one of them. I have no problem saying that, but there's not many. And I think at this point, moving forward and getting out of the ACC is the focus. And with Mike, I think it's a lot easier. Where do you see FSU going? My money is on the Big Ten and Fox. I think the bridges to SEC and ESPN have been burned and should be burned and blown up.
So the Big Ten has a bigger need, obviously, because they're not currently in the state. That's, a anchor in the Southeast. They would truly be a nationwide conference if they add Florida State and, say, North Carolina or Miami. I don't think they're as much in on Clemson, it doesn't seem like. Okay. But the one thing is, like, the SEC, I know Greg Sankey's talked about, like, we're not looking to add. Florida State's not our number one. They talk about North Carolina and Virginia. But if you almost wonder if the SEC might try just to not let them get to the Big Ten.
Exactly.
The Big Ten might be a better conference top to bottom if they added Florida State. They already have a case. And especially if they add Florida State, I think then that would be a major blow to the SEC. And they may have to kind of talk to Florida and say, we have to do this because, and hope that the Gators understand.
No, it's kind of like football recruiting. And I think the SEC looks at FSU as like, yeah, he's a good player. It's a good player. And I don't want him playing against me, but I I don't really love him, but I'll take him just to keep him from playing against me. It's that type deal. And Florida State has to keep that in mind. You don't want to get in bed with the people who just screwed you over, because you will be, as I said earlier, the redheaded stepchild sitting at the small table on Thanksgiving and Christmas for the rest of your being. Whereas if you go to the Big Ten and Fox, they're opening their arms like, come on, baby, let's go. Together we're going to be a national conference. We'll be more relevant than the SEC, and I think they would. It'd be more attractive to national advertisers than just the regional SEC. Absolutely.
And I think the Big Ten would love to have a place where they can put a bunch of November night home games. They're not having to play home games at Michigan, at Minnesota, at Ohio State, night games come November. That time of year.
Great thought. All right, let's get into some of the real good stuff in the portal. And a lot of Alabama players, by the way, heading to FSU. No wonder the Bama fans hate me so much. What tell us about some of the guys that are coming over?
Yeah, I think, it's not the flashy class, because I don't think it really needs to be. I think, frankly, I think the roster's in a better spot. I think the high school class they've just signed is the best they've signed. It's kind of one that was years of work. It took a while to get rolling on that front because they had to build those ties. They had the pandemic where in-person recruiting was shut down for like 16 months. You couldn't ask for a much more challenging start to their tenure, but I think they've really made headway there, and you're seeing that pay off with especially how much Florida and South Georgia is in this class for the high school. But yeah, the transfer, I think they've filled the gaps pretty well. I think they needed more with losing Jared Verse. Getting Patrick Payton back's big, but they needed more ready-made defensive linemen. They've added 3 ends. They've added a tackle. They've definitely done what they needed to there. I think obviously the big one, you talked about the Alabama guys. I think the big one is, you've got your quarterback bridge to the future in DJ Uiagalelei from Oregon State and then previously Clemson, who I think it just helps to not have to throw Brock Glenn or freshman Luke Krummenhoek out there before they're ready. And I think DJ was much better at Oregon State last year. And I think kind of how Clemson's look since he left showed, he wasn't the problem that they seemed to think they could just get rid of DJ and it'd fix all their problems. And that was not proven true this past season.
Yeah. Was it TJ Ferguson, the offensive lineman from Alabama?
Ferguson from Alabama.
Yeah, big boy. And I think they needed to add a little bit there. And getting Lundy back at linebacker, I think was big too, right?
It's humongous. That room, you still could stand to add. At this point, it may have to come post spring because we're kind of, I think, like there's the window where classes wise you can't get guys in past a certain point this semester. So it may have to be post spring at this point. They still want to add, but that room looks much better with DJ Lundy than without it, where you're probably having to start a redshirt freshman who hasn't played a ton and didn't look ready for a starting role from what we saw in the freshman season. With losing Kalen DeLoach, with losing Tatum Bethune, DJ Lundy is almost, a transfer addition just in getting him back for sure.
Kurt Weiler joining us here. The NCAA sanctions, I've talked to some people and they say, post, with NIL, losing scholarships is not that big a deal. Because I saw the 5 scholarships for 2 years. I'm like, wow, that's significant. So I have lots of questions about this. How severe are the sanctions? Who was the knucklehead at Rising Spear that confessed everything to the NCAA? I need to know that. And how is this going to affect FSU in the future?
The sanctions are, for what the violation was.
Oh my God, ridiculous.
Truthfully, so the truth of the matter is the violations aren't that bad. It was that Alex Atkins gave a ride. He wasn't even in the meeting, gave a ride to a visiting transfer prospect to a meeting with the collective. He wasn't even a part of it. He just gave him a ride. I think truthfully, it seems like where the violations were worse and where they had to kind of negotiate down from level 1 is I think Alex Atkins got busted trying to not tell the full truth during the investigation phase where he wasn't entirely truthful. And I guess they had reason. The problem in situations like this where I'm not sure. I don't think it was a Rising Spear telling type thing. I think the problem is if you're looking at a transfer prospect and they end up going back to their former school, that can present some problems, where they're not motivated to protect you like they might be if they ended up there. But I think they're pretty severe, but in the scheme of things, it's 5 total scholarships over 2 years. So, you could do 5 this year, you could do 5 next year, you could do 2 and 3 or however. So, and like you said, in theory, I think a collective could
pay for the scholarship.
Could cover the cost of living, scholarship, whatever have you that comes with that for sure. So, I don't think they'll be promoting that, but it's fascinating. I think it feels like I've heard people say and seen that there are more severe things that they haven't been resolved yet, more severe violations than this. This is, as far as what's bad in the world of NIL, this is next to nothing. So I wonder if those are coming, why this was kind of the first one to go so public and to kind of be resolved publicly.
Do you think that's anything to do with Stan Wilcox, our former athletic director at the NCAA?
I haven't heard that, but I don't think it helps. I don't think it helps. It's maybe the best way to say that. It's I think Jimmy Petronis, the Florida CFO, said it was selective enforcement or what?
Yes. Yeah. So, and lastly, Kurt, where do you see, speaking of Jimmy Petronis and Ashley Moody, our fine attorney general, both of whom I believe are eyeing the governor's mansion, where do you think the lawsuit stands and the possibility? I believe that FSU would not have filed these lawsuits if they didn't think that they were going to win. And they're in a favorable jurisdiction, obviously, in favorable courts in Florida. Ashley Moody's a Gator, for God's sakes. If she didn't think it was going to be pro for the state of Florida, she wouldn't be doing this. But I think they're in a good spot. What do you think?
It's in. So the ACC is not, I don't think, conceding that it's going to be in Tallahassee. The ACC is fighting for it to be held in North Carolina. Kind of like it's about the conference. It should be here. I think Discovery is going to be fascinating. I think there's some stuff the ACC is not going to want out there, frankly. And I don't know. I could be wrong.
ESPN.
I could be wrong. I can't envision the ESPN being willing to go to court about this. The problem is the problem, I think if it were as simple as let's give Florida State a reduced buyout and they're gone, I think if it were that easy and that ended it, that the ACC would do that right now. The problem is if they do that, Clemson, North Carolina, Miami, plenty of other schools say, hey, we would like the same deal, please. And they can't, once they concede that to one, it kind of like feels like it might be the death knell for the conference. So I am fascinated how this ends, but I agree 100% too that I cannot imagine Florida State would have done this without being exceedingly confident because if this doesn't work for them, I mean, they are in a world of hurt for a variety of reasons.
The one specific thing that I've been told by attorneys that is kind of, I don't know if you want to call it a smoking gun, but the extension that was signed by the ACC by Jim Phillips was a unilateral decision on his part. And by the ACC Constitution, he's supposed to get 2/3 approval. Am I wrong on that? And that seems to be a pretty good way to say you've breached this contract in a very material way, by the way. You signed a deal that's 50, if not 65% under market value for your, especially FSU, and you didn't even get our approval. That seems like a contract breaker to me.
Yeah, I think
simplistic.
I think it's possible that comes into it. I think it's also, I mean, the ESPN, I know that FSU kind of alleged that ESPN was kind of intimidating ACC schools of saying, like, sign this now or it's off the table, which is also something that I feel it could come under fire. FSU seems to think that's a major talking point. So, I will be fascinated. I both have now representation both in Florida and North Carolina. So that's like the next step, and we'll see. I mean, we might all get to see the grant of rights that's been hidden like something from National Treasure or Indiana Jones here soon.
I've never. So this is true. Like you have to go up to
and you
Charlotte.
You can't make copies. Yeah.
Then they could change the contract anytime they wanted to.
Yeah.
I've never heard of such a legal document. For God's sakes.
To me, it's almost like it almost is like a guilty conscience type thing.
Yes.
Of like, like if we let you, like, we know this is bad. If we let you, bad things, like it almost feels like they know that if this got to just like be free in the light of day, it would be very easily exposed. I don't know.
Yeah, it's the weirdest thing I've ever heard of, and it just screams guilt and red flags there. So, all right, Kurt, great stuff as always, my friend of the Osceola and Rivals Network. Tell everybody how they can get your content and maybe tease a little bit of stuff you guys got coming up.
Yeah, it's theosceola.com or floridastate.rivals.com. And I mean, we're really turning the page, I think, to 2025 recruiting. Florida State's really ramping up there. Basketball's really turning the corner after a rough stretch.
How about that? Where'd that come from?
Yeah, it's they finally are full depth and they look the part. They finally have kind of their full or close to their full rotational players, and it's been impressive. I don't think many people outside that building saw it coming. Baseball will be here before we know it. We pretty extensively cover Link Jarrett and the baseball team, and spring football will be a fascinating spring football year with so many new pieces.
Yes.
And that'll be here in 2 months before we know it too.
Yeah, we'll see DJ on campus soon. Can't miss him, right?
Yes.
Yeah, good stuff. Thank you, Kurt. Appreciate it, my man. Go Noles.
Appreciate it, JP.
Thanks. That's I wasn't going to even be a basketball fan this year, and then suddenly FSU's like they've won a couple of games on the road and everything. I'm like, okay, maybe I'll pay attention. I don't know.
Yeah, A&M just knocked off Kentucky.
How about that?
I was like, I was covering that game, and I already had my gamer pre-written, like, Aggies fall to number 6 Kentucky, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, crap, I got to redo this whole thing.
Wait a minute. Snatch Buckler. That hat cost JP $150.
He's probably not wrong.
No. I'll be happy to tell this story because when the Super Bowl was here, the producers at CBS came to our radio show, came to our studio, and asked me to do a scene setter for the Super Bowl being in Tampa Bay, and they produced it, and it was on the Super Bowl broadcast. So thank you very much, CBS, for the hat.
Got a free hat out of it, huh?
Yeah, free. Yeah.
Some FaceTime on national.
A little bit of Super Bowl exposure. Never a bad thing. So yeah, we appreciate that. That was really fun doing that. That was honestly one of the highlights of my career. So thanks for bringing that up, Snatch Buckler, and thanks for listening. Appreciate it. All right, quick break. When we come back, we'll get back into Bucks Eagles. We'll hear from Mike Evans. a little bit of Baker Mayfield, and we'll hear from Tim's favorite coach, Todd Bowles, as well. The final thoughts from Todd Bowles. We're brought to you by the great folks at American Mortgage Services. Scott Fitzgerald, he's going to the game tonight. He doesn't care about the rain. He's a real fan. He'll be there, and he's paying dearly for his tickets. Can you believe that? That is a fan. And he's also the best mortgage broker in all of Tampa Bay. I've done over 3,000 loans here locally, works with a lot of the players and coaches. I've done 3 of my mortgages. He can do it for you. Rates are coming down, folks. Get back in the market while there's still some inventory out there, because once they hit below 5, the frenzy will begin. So pay a little bit more now to get the house that you want. You can refi later. Scott at amstampa.com. Scott at amstampa.com. That's what the smart people are doing. So be smart. Get back in the market. Back in 3.
Well, Fitz the mortgage guy did it again. A listener heard his ad, was going to another big bank, but called Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services of Tampa, and Fitz saved him $618 on his monthly payment. Are you kidding me? Folks, that's big money. Rates are going up, they're going down, they're going all over the place. Scott will shop your loan and save you lender fees and get the best rates. Email him, Scott at amstampa.com, or call 813-294-7595. That's Fitz the mortgage guy. Lots of stuff going on right now, and these rates are going all over the place. You need somebody knowledgeable in the market that will work hard for you and get you the best deal. That's my man Scott. He's done 3 loans for me, done thousands of loans for local folks here, works with a lot of the coaches and players in the area. He's the guy. 813-294-7595, or go to Scott at amstampa.com.
JP here for the Geddes Gordon Real Estate Group and our good friend Jane Geddes. Folks, simply put, there is nobody like Jane. Jane is a former LPGA 2-time major championship winner. She was also vice president of talent relations at WWE. She also has a law degree from Stetson. So if Jane can drain a 10-footer to win the U.S. Open and stare down Hulk Hogan in the boardroom, you want Jane on your real estate team to not only negotiate the best deal, but find you the perfect home or investment property. And when you work with the Geddes Gordon Group, you become part of the real estate family and get concierge services that include expertly staging, marketing, and preparing your home for sale. Advice on golf properties. Hey, you might even get some golf tips. Many of their clients become friends long after the sale or purchase is completed. It's all part of the deal. So if you're looking for that perfect home or investment property, or trying to get top dollar for your home, go with Jane Geddes and the Geddes Gordon Group, because there's nobody like Jane. Call 813-485-6808 or go to geddesgordon.kw.com. That's GEDDES Gordon.kw.com, or call 813-485-6808. Are you tired of those stuffy, overpriced sports bars? Well, come join the fun at the Patio in South Tampa and watch your favorite football teams under the stars in a tropical paradise. Yeah, it's a unique setting with huge wood decks beneath the trees, and don't worry, they have an inside AC bar with all your favorite bar games as well. The Patio has all the NFL and UFC sports packages, and it's home to the Tampa Gator Club and Bills Mafia, but all fans are welcome at any time. Hey, my FSU buddies love to watch the Noles at the Patio. It's also home to a great happy hour. Weekdays, get $4 White Claw vodka drinks and $4 White Claw seltzers, $1 off all beer and wine from 3 to 7:30. And every Friday happy hour, join us for Football Friday. It's our live broadcast from 5 to 7 with tons of specials and the fan mic for you to join the show. We'll have swag and ticket giveaways as well. So come out for the live broadcast 5 to 7 every Friday at the Patio, and come watch football in a tropical paradise all season long. It's 421 South McDill, just a few blocks south of Kennedy. Everyone meets at the Patio.
Coming back at you. Now, more with JP on FanStream Sports. It's only just begun.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the great folks at Synovus Bank. It's the big bank with a very, very local feel. My good friend John Acosta is one of the managers over there. He's been in the banking business for over 40 years here in the Tampa Bay area, and that's a lot of the folks they have over there are exactly the same. They've built great relationships in the local area over the years for business banking and personal banking. So if you're looking for a bank, a big bank that has all the bells and whistles, but also has a local feel and will treat you like their only customer, that is Synovus Bank. That's the way they do business over there. So go to synovus.com and get your local branch if you want to switch over your business. Just tell them JP sent you, or get a new personal account. Ask for John Acosta. If he's not there, he might not be. They'll get you somebody just like him that will take a personal interest in your business and your personal wealth as well. So get over to the great folks over at Synovus Bank. All right, we got Bucks and Eagles coming up tonight. The Bucks have now, it started at 2.5. It's now moved to Eagles -3. They are 3-point favorites tonight on the Bucks home field, if you can believe that. I don't think we've mentioned this, but A.J. Brown will not play tonight. So they're going to be down a very significant weapon there, clearly. So as we expected and talked about earlier, they're going to lean on the ground game. No question about it. No question about it. Tim, we haven't really gotten into the Cowboys disaster as much as I would like. So why don't you give us a little what you wrote about the Cowboys in that debacle yesterday, 27-0. I didn't see that coming, partner. I thought we saw this Packers defense a few weeks ago, and the Bucs absolutely torched them. And they certainly don't have the same weapons that the Cowboys do. The Cowboys playing at home, where they hadn't lost since they lost to Brady and the Bucs when I was there 2 years ago.
Yep.
So what the hell happened?
Well, JP, what we saw was a situation of a team being completely and utterly unprepared to play the opponent at hand. We saw not just the lack of preparation, but then we see what happens when you combine that with a quarterback, an MVP caliber quarterback who's having an off night, for whatever reason. Your number one wide receiver who set a franchise record for catches over the course of the season for a very storied wide receiver franchise. Him having an off night. I believe his first 3 targets, he had 2 drops, did CeeDee Lamb.
Yep.
So Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, your highest offensive combination there by far, and it's not close. Not on the same page. You saw on the broadcast, if you were looking for it, dysfunction between the two of them. They were giving each other like questioning stares on the sideline, having conversations where they seemed to be in each other's ear, just nitpicking, right? Like completely off kilter with each other. Yeah. And then you had a defense in Dan Quinn's vaunted defense who looked clueless, like they have several times this season. No surprise to me, because I'll tell you right now, Matt LaFleur is a better head coach than is Mike McCarthy. And that's not that that's saying a lot, but LaFleur had his team ready to play. Jordan Love was a better quarterback than Dak Prescott was. And by the way, I don't know, this is going to be overlooked. I haven't written about this yet or tweeted about it or anything yet, but you know how the players will put their little whatever messages on the back of the helmet, or whatever. Did you happen to see what Dak Prescott's helmet said?
No.
On the very back part of it?
No.
Ironically enough, it said "Be Love."
Be Love.
Yeah. So he should have been Jordan Love last night, but he wasn't.
Like in Be Love.
Like just love, like expressing love. Love.
Right.
Be love, not show love, but it said be love. Well,
wow.
You know what? Ironically enough,
he was not.
Should have been love last yesterday.
He was not.
There was nothing on that team. And you know what? The final score, again, way closer than it should have been. That was not an indication, because Matt LaFleur started pulling punches for sure. He pulled all of his starters in the fourth quarter, and that's when things got close. The first half is what the game was about. 27-0.
That's all you need to know about.
That was
once it's 27-0, folks, the rest is just window dressing. The numbers are window dressing. And it was, as we're sitting here, and the lovely Ashley and I, and she is now so into football with betting. It's hilarious. And she's asking, she does a lot of the parlays and the player props. So she's asking me about all these things. I'm like, you said Dak Prescott was going to be good in this game. Well, he went over the yardage number. We got that. God. You said CeeDee Lamb was going to score a touchdown. I'm like, well, yeah, I thought so. And she's in this Reddit group of player props, and everybody's like, CeeDee, you're a piece of like he was. And boy, were they trying to get him a tutty last night at the end of the game. Yeah. They were doing their best to try and get him a tutty, and he couldn't do it. That whole back and forth with him was bizarre. Like that was just bizarre. And I'm sure you guys asked him about that after the game. What did he say?
We didn't play well enough. That's literally the message we got from everybody. We didn't play well enough. Mike McCarthy made the comment, we've got to be better at preparation. And in my head, I'm thinking, you just admitted you didn't prepare your team
well enough
for this game. You should be fired right now. That's your job. In the one game that we've been waiting for all season, nobody in Dallas gives a crap about the regular season. It means nothing. Nobody cares. We could go 5-12 and make the playoffs, and we'd be happy, right?
Right.
Just do well in the playoffs. No, the one game, JP, that he had to prepare his team for, get them ready to play, game plan, because you're the offensive genius here. You're the play caller. He had nothing. And if Jerry Jones needs to still see more, to think, well, this might be my guy still. We still got faith. We have faith in McCarthy. We have faith in Brian Schottenheimer.
Well, listen, if your quarterback, I'm not defending McCarthy, but if your quarterback is throwing it to the other team like that, I don't care what your game plan is. Dak didn't look like he was seeing the field. Like he wasn't seeing the field. He wasn't seeing the reads. He just wasn't. It looked like he just panicked. It literally looked like he just panicked. And they took away his first read almost every time. That was true. But at his level of quarterback, and you got to have an answer. I mean, that's quarterback in 101, and he never did. He never did. It was bizarre.
That's the thing with Dak. You take away his first read, and he's done.
Yeah, that was
he's done. And it used to be that when you take away his first read, he was fine because he'd run. He'd just take off and get you 4 or 5 yards, right? No, now he's been told McCarthy's put his thumb on him.
Yeah.
No, you need to go through your progression before we want you to run. Well, that progression may be 4 receivers deep, and by then you're on the ground.
Yeah, he's too slow. Can't process it fast enough. Yeah.
And yes, Dak had a horrible, horrible game. Lamb had a horrible, horrible game. McCarthy's game plan was terrible. They dunked the ball underneath way too many times. Against that defense, you should have been throwing the ball down the field more.
Exactly.
And those little 5-yard passes no, I don't give a crap about what's been successful. That's not going to work against that defense, and it didn't. Dak was bad. Lamb was bad. Quinn's defense was worse.
Yeah,
that's inexcusable.
Yeah.
Quinn should be gone. McCarthy should be gone. Do not give Dak another contract. I don't care if we got to go
blow it up, move on.
5-12 seasons. Do it. I don't give a crap. I want this regime gone.
Yeah, for $60 million for a quarterback that does that in the playoffs, that you just can't. You can get Baker Mayfield for $4 million to do that.
I'd rather have Baker Mayfield.
Of course. Who wouldn't? Yeah, and we got him tonight. We'll see what he does. All right, quick break. When we come back, John Clark's going to join us from Philly, NBC station, longtime friend. He was there with the Eagles yesterday as they arrived, so we'll take the temperature of what's going on in Philly land. When we come back, we are brought to you by the great folks at the Patio. You want to go watch the game tonight, don't have a ticket, and want to do it in the comfort of a beautiful sports bar, but go on down to the Patio. There's plenty of under roof space there. They got the outdoor space, but they got the under roof space as well. So great drink specials going on. Get there early to get your spot at the Patio, 421 South MacDill. Back in 3.
All right, this is for all you guys who don't want to go to the gym and do 5,000 crunches. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, you can get on the new True Body machine where you can reduce fat and tone up your muscle. It's like doing 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Define your body as you see fit. True Body offers personalized muscle stimulation that delivers the equivalent of those 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Just get in touch with them at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Chris Lugo and the team over there will set you up on True Body and get amazing results. Non-invasive with comfortable and little to no pain and zero downtime. You can isolate and target those areas that you want to improve and treat multiple areas simultaneously. It's an amazing machine, so check it out at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com.
Hey, the holidays are almost here, so take advantage of our layaway offer at the Gold and Diamond Source. Reserve your favorite piece now and pay in easy installments, making your holiday shopping stress-free. And engagement season is here as well, and we've got the largest selection of engagement rings, so visit us to find that perfect ring for that special moment. Looking for financing options? How big a ring can you get when we give you 3 to 5 years interest-free financing to make your dream jewelry more affordable? So this November, make sure you choose the Gold and Diamond Source for jewelry that's always stylish and unique, because your special someone deserves something to be thankful for, right? Find the perfect gift at the Gold and Diamond Source. Don't settle for factory-made imitations, folks. Make sure it's a Gold and Diamond Source diamond for a truly special piece of jewelry. It's the best folks in the world, Julie and Steve Weintraub at the Gold and Diamond Source, 4800 Ulmerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com.
JP here for my good friends at Italiano Insurance, and they did it again. Once again, Italiano Insurance stepping up with the best customer service. I was in a bind. My old insurance company, my auto insurance, jacked up my rates, so I called Charity at Italiano Insurance, and she stayed till 9:30 at night until she got my insurance done. And guess what? She searched all these companies for me. I didn't do the work. She did. Saved me $1,000 on my annual premium. $1,000, folks. That's real money. And that's what you get at Italiano Insurance. Great customer service. And here's another note for you, by the way, with hurricane season up. 40% of people in Florida are underinsured. That means if you have something happen during a hurricane and you need replacement costs, you're going to get 40% less than you deserve. Can't let that happen. Call the folks at Italiano Insurance and get them to help you out in both those regards. They will save you money and keep you insured properly. That's 813-877-7799. Great folks in the community, been doing it for over 60 years. Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799.
Coming back at you. Now, more with JP on FanStream Sports. It's only just begun.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show. I'm looking at perusing Twitter here, and I see, Buccaneers special donut today at Dunkin' Donuts, a raise the flag donut, little vanilla cream frosting with some red sprinkles. Oh, I like it. That's a nice.
Now I'm hungry. I need a donut.
Yeah, there you go. All right, let's welcome in our good friend from NBC Philly, John Clark, who joins us here. Spent the last few days playing tennis and enjoying the frosty cold weather here. What's up, my friend? How are you? Thanks for bringing your weather with you.
No, we apologize. Hey, I mean, I can't believe it. I've never seen a stretch of like 2 or 3 days coming down here for spring training all the time. I've never seen this.
Yeah, it's deplorable. People need to leave and take your weather and your L with you tonight, please.
We're out tomorrow.
Hey, what's the you were with the Eagles and they came in yesterday. Give me the temperature of the team. Have they put the losing 5 of 6 behind them and come together to play a playoff game tonight that they could be proud of? What do you see?
Well, I got to be honest. I don't know which team we're going to see tonight from the Philadelphia Eagles perspective, because there's just a lot of things going on. There's just a lot of chatter about disconnect between the coaching and the players. And then you've had a lot of stuff going on with A.J. Brown and his emotions, and the change at defensive play caller, and guys not really knowing where they're supposed to be and their assignments, and a lot of adjustments and not being able to play free and fast. And there's a lot of things, a lot of chatter around the head coach. So yeah. I don't know which team we're going to see tonight. I will say the team seemed relaxed and loose, but you know what? We always say that, right? In the sportscasting business, we always say, everybody's relaxed and loose this week. They were having fun, going about their business, joking around in the locker room. But I've heard this talk the last 2-3 weeks, and it hasn't shown on the field. So I don't know. We could get a really good game out of the Eagles, or they could continue on this tailspin and their season's over. So it's hard to tell, because I bought in the last couple of weeks and it's been a disaster.
Yeah, that's the interesting part, John, is I think the Eagles have the better roster, obviously, and with their run last year, they've got the playoff experience. But you don't hear any of that stuff in Tampa Bay's locker room. Yeah, they are, despite Todd Bowles' misgivings, there have been no grumblings about the coaching staff. There's none of that stuff. This is a team that is very together. One family. You sense that vibe. I don't know if Bowles' game plans will be good enough, but I do know this is a team that's very, very together. So maybe that's the difference in a game like tonight. who knows? But I think it's interesting to hear you say that about the Eagles.
Yeah, and look, I think schematically, the Eagles defense has gone through too much adjustment, and the guys have not been able to play free and fast like themselves. Now, there was talk this week that maybe there would be a little bit of a simplification, that the Eagles could play a little freer and faster, simplify things. And the number one key is they got to find a way to get a pass rush. And it'll be interesting to see if they can finally get a pass rush on Baker Mayfield and try to push Baker out of the pocket and get him on the run. He is hard to tackle, but I don't think he is as successful when he's out of the pocket and on the run. And we'll see how badly his ribs are hurting and how bad his ankle is.
Yep.
But on the other side, the whole key for the offense is to be able to beat the blitz and not have what's happened over the last couple weeks. Last week against the Giants, they were awful against the blitz, no answers. But I'll tell you, going back to September, I believe Todd Bowles, he blitzed 75% of the time in that game, and the Eagles picked up most of the blitzes, and they did well against it. So we'll see if the Eagles can get back to doing that. That's the key for me for the Eagles offense.
John Clark joining us from NBC Philly here. You mentioned A.J. Brown. He's not going to play tonight. I had heard he scrubbed his Instagram of Eagles stuff. You were telling me that it's not unusual for him, but is that indicative of what's going on in Philadelphia?
Yeah, let me tell you, there's so much swirling around the team, and you get a sense that during this losing streak, losing 5 of 6, that it's been really heavy. It's been weighing on the players. It's a big weight, and there's a lot of finger pointing and talking back and forth, and players maybe not as together as last year's team, and so that's why it's tough to have a read, because as you know, if a team starts doing that and there's issues in the locker room, then the team is broken. And then no matter the talent, you're not able to put it on the field. But in the case of AJ, he's a highly emotional guy, and that helps him a lot of times on the field. Sometimes it can be misread, or it can go the wrong way in the locker room. And I think he's highly emotional. And, in Tennessee, they talked about him, and he was open about it, that he struggled with some depression. And I think the social media has been too much for him. Philadelphia fans, whoever it is on social media, coming after him, seeing him on the field display his emotions. And so I think he got tired of that, and he just deleted all of the football stuff and just left inspirational messages on his Instagram, because that's the kind of mindset he wants to have right now. But I'll tell you what, the Eagles are losing their most dynamic player, their best player, the biggest difference maker. They won't have them, and that is huge. That is huge.
And to me, it kind of comes down to the Eagles' running game and that offensive line, and Jalen Hurts as a runner. And I know his knee has not been great at times. Where is he right now as a runner and that running game, especially DeAndre Swift? Like, where are they right now?
Well, I'll tell you, man, if they could just do what they did in that game in September in Tampa Bay, 201 yards, 40 rushes. Jalen was up around 8 or 9 rushes and was running great. If they could do that, they'll win. But you're right. Jalen hasn't been the same since he's had the bone bruise in his knee. I think they're definitely going to try to establish the run tonight without AJ and DeAndre Swift and Kenny Gainwell. And look, I mean, if you're going to have the blitz coming at you all the time, one way to beat the blitz, just keep running the ball. So I think we're going to find out about the Bucs defense here too. Vita Vea and everybody. I think the Eagles' mentality this week, from talking to the players, is, what is our identity? And they say we got to get back to being a physical and violent football team, and that's on the lines of scrimmage. They haven't been able to do it as much, but we'll see if we get back to that. I do think that's going to be the plan.
Well, I agree with you, and we'll see if they can get that done. Now, we've played you guys, I think, 6 times in the playoffs. Of course, I've covered, I think, 5 of them. Going to Philly was like the worst nightmare for 3 years until Rondé did his thing. I don't know if you've seen the hype video this morning that the Bucks put out, but it's it's pretty much set. You got to go look at it. We played it earlier in the show. Just go check it out. But the history between these two teams is very interesting, especially in the playoffs. And we shut down the vet. I have a very good inkling that Rondé Barber is going to be a big part of the pregame hype, maybe even in the locker room. I just think you're going to face an emotional Bucks team that is together and ready. And I don't think we need to dismiss the karma that I brought to Tampa Bay on Saturday as Team Tampa Bay beat you guys in tennis. I think that's big, and I just think it carries over to the game. Your thoughts?
Wait a second. Did you get the W? When did this happen?
On Saturday. On Saturday.
You guys got the dub?
Yeah. 6-4.
Oh, man, wow. That kind of went over my head. I wasn't aware of that. Oh, that is a bad sign. That is a bad sign. But I will say,
I mean, I only had to bring in a guy that serves 130 miles an hour, and I don't even think I was on the court for the last 4 games. I don't know if you missed me, but I just I just kind of let him do his thing, and but dub's a dub. You got to take him where you can get him.
Yeah, no, that's true. You'll take it. The one thing I keep going back to with this game, and I know you're going to celebrate that dub. The one thing I keep going back to with this Tampa Bay Bucks team, they have not really performed well this year against winning teams. And you look at who they've beaten over this stretch. They beat the Panthers 9-0.
It was awful. Should have lost the game.
So to me, the Eagles have been battle tested and have faced the best of the best. And so I do think that's advantage Eagles. But as I said,
I do too.
I can't tell you what the fabric is of the locker room right now, and that'll be the deciding factor whether this is a broken Eagles team or not.
All right. We shall see, my friend. Listen, enjoy your day. You catching up with your team at some point? You got live shots today, right, from Raymond James? Bring your umbrella, bro. Bring your umbrella.
Oh, yeah. We'll be out at Raymond James, and we went last night, and they have placed the 2 very, very large Lombardi trophies out in front of the stadium. That's another in your face to the Eagles.
Hey, John, real quick before we let you go here, it's Tim again, and I'll state my allegiance. I do broadcast JP's show from Dallas. So obviously we know where my allegiance lies in the NFC East. And we all know what I just went through yesterday, what we had to suffer through. Would you describe things being worse in Dallas or worse in Philadelphia right now?
Great question. You might have to ask me after tonight. Right. But I will say this. The Dallas Cowboys had it all set up. And they had a home game as the 2 seed. Everything was set up for them, and they completely blew it. And so the Eagles, allowed it to escape their destiny and gave it to the Cowboys. But man, that is the biggest implosion I've ever seen. And there's been a lot of Cowboys implosions.
Oh yeah.
Man.
Might be the biggest though.
Yeah, totally. So I think that might be worse because they had it all set up.
Jerry Jones said after the game this is his biggest playoff disappointment since he's been associated with the team.
And he's got a lot to choose from.
Yeah. That should tell you Mike McCarthy's on the hook right now.
If the Eagles and the Cowboys are both on the sidelines after tonight, what do we say about the
just go ahead and give it to San Francisco.
The Packers and
that's
the Bucks over the Eagles and the mighty Cowboy. Yeah. All right, Clark. Enjoy your stay. I'll see you tonight.
Hey, see you tonight. See you. Thanks.
Right. Wow.
There he goes.
Yeah, have I ever seen a playoff game with 2 teams less interested in winning coming into the game? Like just dreadful performances. I mean, I'd love, all that great stuff I said about the Bucks,
Yeah.
It's all true from they've stuck together. It's one thing I could say about this team. There's been no finger pointing except for Devin White.
Right.
Not that he's finger pointing. He's been the only malcontent. He's been the only distraction during the season. I don't like the way the Bucks handled it, but whatever. They have an opportunity tonight to win a freaking playoff game. But if they don't win the game tonight, I think a lot of people, of course, we have had the columns all week long, give Todd Bowles his flowers, and I don't have a problem with that. He's done a great job with this team and what he's had to work with. I I'll say a good job. I'm not going to say great job. I think he's done a good job. It is what it is. But if he gets a win tonight, I'll just shut up. He deserves it, even though the Eagles are circling the drain. But you got to take advantage of these opportunities. Normally you got a team like the Dallas Cowboys did last year come in here and whooped their ass. It was an embarrassment, as you remember, Tim. It seems like a long time ago, but it was an embarrassing performance by the Bucs, just like the Saints was an embarrassing performance, just like the Carolina Panthers game last week. I don't care. Yeah, they won, but I watched the tape. It was dreadful. It's offensively, but they got the job done. They don't ask you how many. They just ask you, they don't ask how. They ask how many wins you get.
Yeah,
okay, you're in. So, and that's the coach's job, to win the freaking game. Doesn't have to be pretty. So they got it done, and they've stayed together, and maybe that's the secret sauce tonight. I don't know. We'll see. All right, let's take one more break, Timmy, and when we come back, I'll talk a little Bolts and maybe some late developments for tonight's game. Stay with us.
All right, this is for all you guys who don't want to go to the gym and do 5,000 crunches. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, you can get on the new True Body machine where you can reduce fat and tone up your muscle. It's like doing 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Define your body as you see fit. True Body offers personalized muscle stimulation that delivers the equivalent of those 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Just get in touch with them at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Chris Lugo and the team over there will set you up on True Body and get amazing results. Non-invasive with comfortable and little to no pain and zero downtime. You can isolate and target those areas that you want to improve and treat multiple areas simultaneously. It's an amazing machine, so check it out at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com.
Hey, the holidays are almost here, so take advantage of our layaway offer at the Gold and Diamond Source. Reserve your favorite piece now and pay in easy installments, making your holiday shopping stress-free. And engagement season is here as well, and we've got the largest selection of engagement rings, so visit us to find that perfect ring for that special moment. Looking for financing options? How big a ring can you get when we give you 3 to 5 years interest-free financing to make your dream jewelry more affordable? So this November, make sure you choose the Gold and Diamond Source for jewelry that's always stylish and unique, because your special someone deserves something to be thankful for, right? Find the perfect gift at the Gold and Diamond Source. Don't settle for factory-made imitations, folks. Make sure it's a Gold and Diamond Source diamond for a truly special piece of jewelry. It's the best folks in the world, Julie and Steve Weintraub at the Gold and Diamond Source, 4800 Ulmerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com.
JP here for my good friends at Italiano Insurance, and they did it again. Once again, Italiano Insurance stepping up with the best customer service. I was in a bind. My old insurance company, my auto insurance, jacked up my rates, so I called Charity at Italiano Insurance, and she stayed till 9:30 at night until she got my insurance done. And guess what? She searched all these companies for me. I didn't do the work. She did. Saved me $1,000 on my annual premium. $1,000, folks. That's real money. And that's what you get at Italiano Insurance. Great customer service. And here's another note for you, by the way, with hurricane season up. 40% of people in Florida are underinsured. That means if you have something happen during a hurricane and you need replacement costs, you're going to get 40% less than you deserve. Can't let that happen. Call the folks at Italiano Insurance and get them to help you out in both those regards. They will save you money and keep you insured properly. That's 813-877-7799. Great folks in the community, been doing it for over 60 years. Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799.
Coming back at you. Now, more with JP on FanStream Sports. It's only just begun.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by Synovus Bank, the great bank that has a local feel. Big bank, they can do everything that the big banks can do, but if you walk in there, you'll get that real local feel. Folks will treat you like they're the neighborhood bank, because that's what they want to be. John Acosta, good friend of mine, loves to support the show. He was introducing some folks at the sneaker soiree the other night. Mikhail Sergachev introduced him, who gave the Hero Award to a young boy who's battling cancer. So really nice moment at the sneaker soiree, brought to you by the great folks at Synovus Bank. They're the local folks. So get on over to synovus.com and pick out a local branch and head on over there. Get a new business account or new personal account at synovus.com. All right, partner. Should we play a little Todd Bowles in his last press conference previous to getting ready to get this game going?
Let's do it.
It's Todd Bowles from Saturday, actually.
Afternoon. Hi.
Ask him about injuries.
Everybody's good to go.
Include Baker.
Wish we could hear these questions.
Talking about Baker and his injuries.
Yeah, I mean, a couple of days rest will do him good. Obviously, he hasn't been hit yet, so we're going to try to keep him clean, but he's feeling good. He's ready to go.
Yeah, he moved well in practice. Question about rain in the forecast. You ready for that?
It's playoffs. I mean, you practice a wet ball just so you can get used to it. Other than that, you play.
He's asking
we'll
about
see
the
right
previous
now
game.
status quo.
Yeah. Asking about Baker's ribs.
If he gets hit, it probably affect him throwing.
Yeah. This is the Saturday press conference.
One of the other coaches.
That's
between Thad and Rashad. It was playing. We'll talk about this after the season.
What in the world was that?
You know, it's funny. It's like the coach does one last media opportunity. Like he speaks every day and post practice or just about every day. And so all like the real questions have been asked. And this is just like to update everything. So you get one last shot. Usually it's all about injuries and stuff. But it's it's going to be short, and the answers are going to be really, really short. And I couldn't even hear the last question, but
he looked, and I get it. Like I'm not knocking him at all for that, but that just seemed like the most uninteresting. Like nobody wanted to be there, give a damn.
Yeah.
Interview situation, gangbang ever. Like what are we doing here? But
it's kind of
whatever.
Kind of silly, but I wanted to hear him talk about a little bit about the injuries to Baker, and he's right, man. You got to keep him clean, no doubt. You got to keep him clean. Over the weekend, the Bolts got a big 5-1 win over Anaheim, 3-for-3 on the power play in the second period. Really got it going. Anaheim's not a great team, but kind of the sub story was the return of Alex Killorn, and another great video by the Lightning Vision department that I work with. They just do a fantastic job. And Killorn told everybody that he'll be retiring here after his days in Anaheim. We've had a lot of these, guys that win the cup come back and the great emotional videos. And it was really a good moment. But, the Bolts now won 4 or 5, 3 in a row, starting to stack some points. Vassie looking more and more like Vassie. The power play did its job the other night, and they're getting scoring from the defensemen now. I think they've had 8 goals in the last 7 games from defensemen, including 2 overtime winners last week from Perbix and Radish. So when we've been talking about this on our post-game show with Brian Engblom all year long, as a defenseman, he knows all too well that, when the defenseman can get confident and jump into the play, obviously it keeps the puck in their end. And, your best defense is always a good offense. And I think the Lightning are starting to play a little bit more confidently in that realm. And they've had some call-ups, and Lilleberg has just been unbelievable. This young defenseman, he put a hit on forget who it was the other night that people are still talking about. It was unbelievable. And he's been so good just eliminating players. It's something the Lightning defensemen just don't do. When guys cross the blue line with the puck, they tend to back up and play positional hockey, try to reach it with their stick, where he comes up and he just, he eliminates them. He takes the body, puts them into the boards, and the puck is free. And for the life of me, the Chief talks about this all the time. It's just, I don't know if it's not the way the Lightning like to play or how they play, but that's the way this guy plays. And if he's going to continue to, I think that's going to lock up his spot up here, because he's been really physical, and I love the way he plays. So yeah, it's been fun to watch. They got 4 days off. They got Minnesota coming in on Thursday, who are just so I think they've got 7 guys on the injury list. They're just completely look like an AHL team out there. So another chance to bank a couple of points. Now, during these 4 days, the other teams are going to start catching up with those games in hand. So, but I like where the Lightning are right now. They're starting to find themselves a little bit. Maybe these young defensemen will help them out. All right, what else did we didn't get into too much about the other games this weekend. And we got another playoff game, by the way. We got Buffalo and Pittsburgh. I think they finally
played that yesterday.
Yeah, they've got all the snow shoveled out of the stadium, I hope.
Yeah, I saw a picture of Highmark Stadium earlier this morning, and it's not cleared, but looks like it's more football ready than it was over the weekend.
Yeah, and by the way, Jim Harbaugh interviewing with the Chargers, I believe, today has been reported. So that's probably
where he's going, right?
I got to believe so, yeah. And Belichick to the Cowboys?
I mean, we're not going to get that.
Of course. No, we're not going to get that. Sorry. Hopefully he never leaves San Diego.
I don't want Belichick down. I mean, you know what? At this point, I don't give a damn. Just whoever. Let's just try something new.
Yeah. All right. Well, McCarthy was new. That was new.
I know, and I was all open to McCarthy coming. Although I tell you, who I wanted in that coaching cycle in Dallas, and I think it would have worked better than McCarthy, was Ron Rivera. I wanted Rivera here in Dallas, but he got snatched up by the Commanders like that before I think Dallas could even interview. Plus, Jerry wanted an offensive-minded coach, for Dak and whatever.
Yeah, I get that. I'm
done. Just whoever.
TJC says you're getting Mike Vrabel.
You know what? That's fine.
You'll take that. I'll take
Mike Vrabel. I don't think it's happening, but you know what? I take it.
Why no Mike Vrabel? You don't like Mike? You don't like Mike? I like Vrabel.
You know what? Right now, I like him better than McCarthy. And
I heard Schefter say this morning that Mike Tomlin might take a year off.
He probably should.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he needs to get out of Pittsburgh. His time has passed.
We'll take him in Tampa Bay. That's for sure.
Yeah. I would take him here. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, my friend. Thank you very much for jumping in for Nick today. Nick will be back tomorrow as you guys trade days to do a little Bucks analysis on this game. I cannot wait to see this game tonight, my man. I have no idea what to expect. I wish I could give you a pick, folks, but if I have to go with my gut feeling is the Eagles ground game is going to be the difference in tonight's game. But more than that, it'll be the big mistake.
Let me give you my pick.
Yeah, go ahead.
The Cowboys are out, and I'm go Bucks. I'm go Bucks 100% through the playoffs.
I'm rooting for the Bucks.
And I've got Bucks 19, Eagles 13.
I'm going to go Eagles, and I hate to say this, Eagles 17-14 with a kick at the gun.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but we'll see. Hope I'm wrong. God dang, I hope I'm wrong. Have a great day, everybody. Go Bucks. We'll talk to you tomorrow.